Welcome, Capricorn. This is Regina from Pacific Tarot, getting ready to do your reading for a time in which the blue full moon in Sagittarius has been active, has already peaked. And by the time you're receiving it, there is still the residual resonance that will be echoing for a while. So this is not a full moon reading per se, but rather resonating to the energy in general that is existing and reflecting our experience in the stars. So let's get started with your present energy, the Knight of Cups and the Seven of Wands. So my sense is that you are directing your passionate energy, your enthusiasm, your inspiration towards a path that comes directly from your gifted heart. So you have an incredible amount of creative potential, energy, experience, and vision. And you have been down this path before, though. You've done this before. You've set out somewhat successfully on a variety of creative projects, as an example. And this time you are aware that you have to be more strategic than you've been in the past. And it feels to me as though this path has often evolved into a place where you were highly in demand and you were responding to the demands, the requests of others, rather than shaping your own vision of performance or production. And this is something that you're considering now. You're inspired again. You're accumulating the skills and gifts that you have gained over the years as a result of pursuing this creative path. And you are aware that to do this successfully for you means setting up some really clear boundaries about the limits of to which you will allow yourself to be distracted by the needs of others specifically. So this is describing someone who is enthusiastic, joyful, passionate, and playful in their interaction with others, in their participation. You bring the fire, the energy, and yet people find that contagious and want to feed off that energy, often leading you to a place of depletion. And you are aware that you will not let yourself fall into that very defeating trap again. In the past, the Ace of Cups. This is interesting as a description of the past. So I do feel that there is a way in which you once saw yourself as a romantic, a passionate giver, creator, one who blossomed in the attention, the love, the ability to express yourself emotionally, to express your feelings and thoughts freely from this very unfiltered place. And in many ways that gained you a lot of attention, and much of that attention was favorable, but the feeling here is that it never went anywhere. It didn't go anywhere significant. It did not go to a place that you wanted. It did not go to a place of blossoming, of growth, of free flowing, of deeper connection. Instead, it seems as though it has set you off on a variety of different tangents or different paths in pursuit of this deeper connection with others, with yourself, with your vision. And in the future, the Four of Pentacles in the World card is describing there's kind of a repeat emotional pattern I'm seeing here, or a practical pattern that results from the sense of wanting to guard what you have and not have yourself deprived of your gifts, of your efforts, of your products. prematurely, or not allowing yourself to be used to create a foundation that others can build upon. And it seems to me a story is being told here of you creating a foundation that then and then being somehow excluded from the opportunity to build on that foundation. And you have created entire worlds for others, worlds of success, acclaim, recognition that you were unable to participate in. And that is precisely what you're trying to manage for yourself now. The recognition that you have a foundation of skills, talents, gifts, knowledge that has created this platform for your recognition, your ultimate reward, your appreciation by a larger public for the service that you provide, an acknowledgement of your passion, of your vision. And for the oracle, I pulled service. I feel good when I can help others. Therein lies the rub. So this is feeling very much like giving is second nature to you. You were born with the ability to make others feel good. You know how to give love, caring, attention, entertain, be playful with, distract others in a way that can be very productive, a way that is greatly appreciated, but you haven't quite learned how to provide those same experiences for yourself. So there's some way that your conditioning has led you to believe that your job is to help others to be successful. And that, as many of us know, can be a deep social conditioning that arises quite innocently from our social conditioning, in which our job, our assignment is to care for others and to sacrifice ourselves for their well-being. And you're aware that this habit, this conditioning, this way of identifying yourself, this way of being comfortable staying small, because otherwise you would threaten those who need you to stay small, is ultimately a contradiction to what you're here to do. You can't give these big gifts. You can't make these grand gestures, be productive, activate a vision if you're busy taking care of others, prioritizing their needs over your own. And so this is a time when you are realizing quite basically that you cannot love, support, help others unless you prioritize your own needs first. And it's looking like that need is sacred space. The recognition that you have to create clear walls around you, boundaries around you that must be religiously and constantly reinforced. For many of you, this is on the daily. You are asked for favors, help, support on a regular basis. And it's not always part of your job assignment. But you're happy to give it because you know in giving you continue to learn, you continue to grow, and that's natural for you. If this reading is resonating with you so far, Capricorn, please like this video. Please subscribe to my channel, Pacific Tarot. I appreciate you so much and welcome your comments and thoughts. So I'm going to first clarify this row before we go to the outcome. And the Ace of Cups is clarified by, again, the Four of Pentacles. Oh dear. And the Seven of Pentacles. So this is really, yeah, I just see you as one who holds the fort, holds the ground, stabilizes everything, the one everyone relies on. Not only do others in the past particularly, and this is speaking to your conditioning, the one who can counsel, advise, evaluate something, its merits for others. So in terms of your own desire to express vision, you already know that you have a foundation there. You already know and have looked at the way that you are keeping yourself small. You're very aware of the threat, in many cases, to others, particularly loved ones, to your moving outside of this lane, of helping them. I would challenge some of you to remember a time when your accomplishments were celebrated in the way that others request your celebration for their successes. And in part, it's because, and in part for many of you, shunning celebrations, personal celebrations, has a lot to do with the way that it feels insincere. It doesn't feel commensurate with the effort you've made. And so you don't like to be celebrated because you feel you're being celebrated for not succeeding, if that makes sense to many of you. In the present, the Knight of Wands and the Seven of Wands are clarified by the Knight of Swords and the World card again. Okay. So the World is again saying your vision now is expressly to serve a wider, broader, more public community than you have in the past. And you're not allowing yourself to be stopped this time. You're really strategizing your move forward now. And that's what's required, because part of the resonance of this reading is the deep devotion, loyalty, and commitment you have to helping, to loving. You see your creative energy as a powerful form of love. And so it isn't always surprising to you why others want to hold you back for their own benefit. They don't want you to be there in the world where other people, they feel that they'll lose that nurturance, that support, that attention that you have given them in the past. You've moved away from this habit, I believe, for many of you in your life. And in this specific moment, you're looking at this pattern. This pattern is something you've been healing. You've been stabilizing what the value of the skills and the gifts that you have, the experience you have in supporting the success of others. And that's what you're using to manage your journey towards this much larger forum. For many of you, there's a sense that there are many far and wide that are interested in what you see or what you have to say. But you don't necessarily feel that you have the infrastructure to go there directly. So this feels as though you are finding vehicles to articulate your vision. And right away, what comes to mind is Leonardo da Vinci's notebooks. I don't know what they're called, but the idea that many artists, many creators, many architects, many professionals use sketchbooks, workbooks as ways of pounding out ideas, organizing, outlining projects. And I feel like that is a useful tool for you right now. And that can look like a lot of things. That can look like a very rigorous meditation, contemplation, or even reflection habit or routine. A place where you actually stop and allow yourself, and this is challenging for you because I feel like your ideas are all over the place. You know you belong in a larger container for many of your ideas, but so this would be a way of kind of reining in the breadth and diversity of ideas that occur to you in any waking moment. In fact, one of the things you might be contemplating or focusing on is a way to still your mind, to release yourself from the ongoing mental chatter that is the result of your vast interest, your enthusiasm for part of the vision that you see or that you participate in. In the future, the Four of Pentacles and the World card again is clarified by 2 cards, please. The King of Swords and the Strength card. Yeah. So, did I say King of Swords? Yes. Okay, so I do think that there's something there. There are 2 approaches that are occurring to me. One is the continual pursuit of your truth through new ideas, new information, research, exploration of ideas, engagement in discourse, conversation, discussion that stimulates your ability to connect the dots in establishing something, a foundation for this success you're moving towards. And this does take phenomenal strength. For many of you, you do not consider your mind to be your strongest power. What you do at this particular time have going for you, however, is, and finishing that thought, you see your power as your stamina, your will, your productivity, your ability to start something and never stop until it's finished. And that's a beautiful quality that it feels like it's been thwarted a lot in the past. But particularly at this time, with the full moon, we have Sagittarius energy and Gemini energy, which are stimulating the thoughts, the ideas, the information that you're able to gather, but overstimulating it in a way that requires you to be strong in sticking to an idea. Saturn currently is in Aries. That is your friend. It's also your ruling planet. Some of you have placements in Aries as well. This is about the impulse to give form to your ideas, to do something, to stand up for something, to move in a direction, to take a stand. So I think right now you feel the impulse to do something, get a business license, plan the trip, the research trip that you're interested in. Begin to explore the countries where, or the locations where you believe that you would be able to make fruitful contacts. Because I believe for many of you, your idea, your vision includes familiar and unfamiliar communities that you see a similar thread running through. There's a lot here about you finding your inner peace, because what is going to be required of you to build upon this foundation is this sense of clarity around the idea of peace, the idea of finding alternatives to the way that we socially engage in conflict. And so this constant alienation and division that is amplified in the media is pointed to as a distraction in the media, is something you have to be very mindful of. You cannot keep yourself from world events. That's just not who you are. But you can kind of focus those to the extent that you can in order to define the next step. All you have to do is take one step. This is telling me. And so the outcome card is the Two of Swords here. And I'm getting a lot of energy here that tells me that you are trying to make the commitment in recognition of the fact that you have been holding yourself back. You may have held yourself back over a lifetime trying to break through that wall of always choosing others, always prioritizing the needs of others, even if uh, you understand that's what is not best. Some of this is what has been required of you to move through certain institutional or professional spaces, is to prioritize, to manage others in a way that has taken away from the ability to focus in on your vision, to pursue that from a place of your strength, which is your ability to persevere, to complete something, to not stop until something is done. And so you really are focused on how you've been holding yourself back, recognizing yourself as your biggest obstacle. This is mature, but it's also requiring a lot of purging. A lot of inner work has been required in order to maintain, hold on to this clarity that you have. This is not a new vision for many of you. As I said earlier, many of you were born with a very clear sense of service, of support and assistance for others, of understanding and having experienced other world or social experiences that many that you encounter do not have or do not see. So let's clarify the Two of Swords here with 3 cards. There is the Star, there's the 9 of Pentacles, and the 2 of Wands. This is lovely. Yes, the Star is confirming this sense of a vision that has only grown with time. This world that you have increasingly allowed yourself to expose to others, or to find connection with others through this vision, a greater awareness that more and more of the others in the world share a vision you have. There's a community of people like you that are working in a similar way towards similarly aligned goals. The 9 of Pentacles is really about the way you see your power and your strength. It isn't that love doesn't exist for you, only with a capital L. You do desire love, but at this point in your life, you understand that the greatest love is this ongoing investment in who you are. And that means in cultivating your interest, cultivating your skills, living through that outline, those notes that you have taken over and over again. And some of you I see right now have baskets full of notebooks, of sketchbooks, of dream journals, of journals that are, some are finished and completed, most of them are not. And you have even gone back, perhaps removed pages from notebooks in order to start again. But this is something that is yielding a lot of benefit for you. Any kind of journal, a dream journal is an example of one that bears tracking and rereading, reconsidering, reassessing, looking for connections. The answers are right there for you. You don't have to go far. And the 2 of Wands. This is about recognizing that you have alternatives. You are ultimately coming up with a plan right now. And this is the move that is critical to your success. So I'm going to finish up this reading, Capricorn, with the language of flowers. And I pulled the pitcher plant, and the key word is insight. The answers are there for those who look. I think I'm not going to say any more, Capricorn. Fellow Capricorns, thank you so much for sharing this beautiful energy with me. Until next time, namaste.